Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People. In today's episode, EM demands I give up my airline seat because her child deserves it more. The original Karen, 1976, gets her car shoved in ditch by construction workers. Woman demands kiosk be reprogrammed by Walmart worker. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. EM demands I give up my airline seat because her child deserves it more. So, I'm on a 5-hour flight for a work conference. I booked a window seat because I like to lean against the wall to sleep. I board the plane, settle in, and everything seems fine. Then enters entitled mom, EM, and her kid, EK. EM, staring at me, you're in our seats. Me, I don't think so, this is 23A, right? EM, yes, but my son really wants to look out the window. Me, I booked this seat specifically, sorry. EM, well, my son has never flown before, and he should get to experience it. You should give your seat to him. He deserves it more. Me, I understand, but I also paid for this seat. At this point, the flight attendant, FA, comes over to see what the commotion is about. FA, is everything all right here? EM, no. He won't let my son sit by the window. FA, ma'am, the seats are assigned, and he's in his correct seat. EM, this is outrageous. My child deserves this experience. FA, I can't change assigned seats. You'll have to sit in your assigned seats. EM huffs and puffs, but finally takes her assigned middle seat next to me, muttering about how some people are so selfish. 5 hours sitting next to EM was not fun, but I held on to my window seat. My comfort was worth more than her entitlement. So, that's my experience. Can't believe people like this actually exist. My comfort was worth more than her entitlement. Skippy. You were definitely more polite than I would have been. I wouldn't have caused a scene, but after a third backchat I would have told her the actual reason I never swap seats on a flight. Nervous flyers click at own discretion. Because if the plane crashes and we become a charred mess of bone fragments that not even dental records can identify, then I want the seating plan to be accurate so that my remains go back to the right family. Edit, I'm seeing a lot of comments below about the airplane being too mangled and seats themselves thrown about, and planes crashing into the ocean or other irretrievable circumstances. People, it's just a comment for shock value. It shuts an EP up pretty well. Scientific accuracy is not in the forefront of my intention with this comment. You want your kid to have a window seat, then book one. My brother is a commercial pilot. He's had to intervene in countless situations like this. You paid for the seat, it's yours. Not your fault EM didn't pay attention to seat selection, or was too cheap to buy seats when she booked the flights. If she'd wanted her kid to sit by a window, she could have booked a window seat. Not rocket science. Good thing you didn't get up for the toilet. Can imagine she would move the kid into your seat and refuse to move him. The original Karen, 1976, gets her car shoved in ditch by construction workers. This may be the wrong category. If it is, just let me know. This story takes place in late fall 1976. I was 11 years old and never missed the bus to school. This day missed the bus and my dad said he was too busy to drive me the 20 miles to school. I stayed home, worked on my schoolwork and did some chores around our farm. This year we had a very wet spring, so crops went in late. So my dad is out in the field harvesting field corn. It was getting close to noon, so I go in the house and start lunch, knowing my dad will be coming in for lunch any time. By 12:30 he isn't in for lunch. This man had a stomach you could set a clock by. I head out towards the field to see why he is late. I see him staggering towards the house like he is drunk. I wasn't alarmed, just wondered what was going on. Why is he walking like that? He is finally a few feet from me and raises his forearms towards me. It took a few seconds to understand the blood all over his clothes and the fact his arms no longer had hands on them. He had the presence of mind to have shoved both hands into the bucket of axle grease we had by the machine shed. I ran in the house, grabbed the keys, and get him into the truck. I had been driving around the farm and back roads for a couple years now. We set off for the nearest hospital. In a 20-year-old farm truck with a 3 on the tree. It is about 30 miles from where we lived. It just so happens there is a river with a drawbridge you have to cross to get into this town. They are in the process of building a higher bridge and getting rid of the drawbridge. So as you can imagine, they have moved the original road, narrowed the lanes, and all the usual construction stuff. I get about a mile from the bridge and traffic is at a dead stop. The bridge is up for an approaching barge. My dad is in the seat moaning and going in and out of consciousness. So I am in our farm truck and pull off the road. I start driving through the construction area to get to the head of the line for bridge traffic. I am honking like an idiot, waving my hand. The workers are yelling but moving aside. One guy pulls his truck across in front of me and jumps out, cussing me out. I later found out he was the foreman. I had to stop when he blocked me because of Caterpillar tractors on each side. He comes to the door, yanks it open, ready to kill me. He saw my dad and yanked me from the seat, threw me in the bed of the truck, and is screaming in his radio. This man was doing about a dozen things simultaneously. His workers are running ahead of the truck to where the line of cars are. He is on the radio telling the bridge operator to stop the barge and lower the bridge. Not in a minute, do it now. All this probably took him a minute to 2 minutes. To me, it was only a moment. He drives the truck up to the bridge. Here comes the original Karen. This lady is burned into my memory. She is driving a Cadillac, huge bleach beehive hairdo, cigarette in her claws, and the B***chiest face I have ever seen. The construction guys have been telling her to back up and move so they can get the truck onto the bridge. They explain injured man in the truck. I hear this bleached cow yell she doesn't care, the injured man can wait. She needs to get to her beauty appointment. The foreman tells her he will use a caterpillar to move her if she doesn't move willingly. She refuses, stating the "Do you know who my husband is?" At that point, our truck about 2 inches from the side of her car. My dad holds up his hands. She apparently saw the blood, grease, and the fact the hands aren't there. She faints. The foreman and his guys put her car in neutral and push it into a ditch. The foreman drives us to the hospital. He is also on his radio telling whoever he is talking to that he wants the cops there to arrest her, and her car towed for putting someone's life in jeopardy. I don't know what all happened to her. I do know this foreman was a force of nature. So that is my story of dealing with the original Karen that spawned all the current Karens. Since I am guest, some will ask. My dad's sleeve got caught in the gears of the corn picker when he was working on it without turning it off. Once his right hand went in, he tried to pull it out with his left hand. He ended up spending several months in the hospital and many operations. In the end, he lost his right hand completely, lost everything on left hand but his thumb. He lived another 30 years after that. Bloody hell. What a read that was. I don't know where to start. Your poor dad. You amazing kid at 11 driving him like you did. That incredible foreman. And that woman. I'm sorry for your father. That's one hell of an accident. Actually, the accident wasn't his biggest problem, my mother was. She had warned him repeatedly for years not to work on machines while they were running. My dad was like most men at the time and ignored her because he knew better than her. His best friend always told him only city boys wasted time turning machines on and off when working on them. My mother kept pointing out his friend was an idiot, missing parts of fingers on both of his hands. I do give my mom credit. To the best of my knowledge, she never actually said "I told you so" to my dad. This happened to my dad too. His sleeve got caught in the power takeoff and ripped his arm off to the shoulder. He was 21 in 1951. Farmed until he died at 69. His brother was with him and was able to stop the bleeding long enough to get the neighbor lady to call for the ambulance. He only wore his prosthetic arm once after it was fitted, on his wedding day. I was in kindergarten when it hit me he was different. Other dads had 2 arms. Mine had 1. He never let it get in the way when he wanted to something. I know a person with 1 arm, not sure how, but she has kids, plural, and a husband whom she cooks for, a home she cleans herself. I had sugary on my arm several months ago, and was able to find some nice tools to help me cut up veggies, open cans, etc. They are a huge help. I need closure. What happened to the Karen? This question is going to haunt me for the rest of my life. Woman demands kiosk be reprogrammed by Walmart worker. So this happened yesterday at my friendly neighborhood Walmart, which has always had self-checkout on one side but just recently installed the second set at the other entrance. It's unusually busy for a Sunday and I'm there grabbing a few things for dinner, rice, beans, meat, etc., under 10 items. I've always been under the impression that self-checkout is for those of us with less items than a full basket. But whatever, I digress. I go to get in line in the new section of self-checkout kiosks. A couple of workers are gathered around the one kiosk that has the red light on above it. It's not available for use. Well, cue this older woman with a full basket of groceries, about 3 people deep in the line. EW, why is that one not available? There's a full line. I thought these were new. The workers, who can't be more than 20, already look annoyed with the situation, but one of them walks to the edge of the display barrier around the self-checkout to address her. Ma'am, we're not sure what's going on, but that kiosk is only displaying information in Spanish. We were trying to see if we could adjust the language settings, but we can't figure it out. Anyone's free to use it though. The woman lets out an audible sigh, apparently not good enough. EW, if it's not in English, how am I supposed to know what I'm paying for? The worker looks confused as much as the rest of us. Well, I mean, you are going to be scanning each item. So you would know, wouldn't you? I can practically hear the dripping sarcasm from the worker, and I'm loving it. EW, how hard can it be to change the language? Why would it come in Spanish? Worker seems to be dying a little inside. Ma'am, when they set it up they must have made a mistake in the initial install. I'm not sure what else to tell you. EW, well, they need to come fix it, they're holding up the line. They don't work in the building, ma'am. It's a vendor install and it's a national contract, we have to schedule them to come out. EW, can't you do it? What are you here for if you're not going to help? Just change it to English. At this point, a third worker walks up. This one is a manager of some kind. He walks up to a woman and looks over her cart. WM2, miss, you have too many items for self-checkout as it is, you're going to have to go to an open register. The woman begins huffing and puffing about how she would be done already if that kiosk wasn't broken, to which the manager corrects her it's not broken. During this exchange, several kiosks did open up, but she refused to take in any of them while she had her extremely loud conversation and blocked the entrance to the kiosk area with her full basket. I took slight comfort in that there were only 3 open registers and those lines were even longer than self-checkout. That's when you say gracias to the woman as she goes to a new line. I wish I would have thought of this. It would be nice if the self-checkouts were only for people with less than a basket full, but that wouldn't be feasible in my local Walmart. There is only ever one regular lane open and almost everyone does all of their grocery shopping there. Yep. The Walmart I shop at usually only has about 3, sometimes 4 lanes open. Pretty much everyone uses the self-serve kiosks because of it. Walmart, by corporate policy, does not limit the number of items at self-checkout. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.